Global oil has sunk to the lowest in 3 years after Trump's tariffs.
You mean the tariffs that are intended to reduce our trade deficit? How does that work if oil is our number one export? How does that work if oil, refined oil, and refined petroleum are our top three exports? If you drive down the value by artificially manipulating the market of your top three exports, you by definition create a much larger trade deficit. You're creating a larger trade deficit to reduce the trade deficit. That makes a lot of sense. How about the fact that our top three exports, which are all oil and gas products, the value of those is greater than the combined value of the next six exports? This is akin to like taking a whiz in a 50-mile-an-hour wind. Yeah. And let us not forget what happened the last time we artificially manipulated the global oil and gas market. That is with the OPEC 2020 deal. That's the last time we did this because Donald Trump doesn't like free markets. He wants to control the markets. Now, fortunately, oil prices have been rather resilient to this silly tariff scheme. The reason oil prices are resilient, though, is bad news because they're resilient because we currently have fairly low inventories around the world. And that is because with the implementation of all of these tariffs on the global supply chain, we have taken supply and demand of oil out of the equation for the price you get for it. We've taken that out. In turn, we've lost about 100,000 barrels a day of oil production, which isn't huge, but it's not a good sign considering oil prices have in fact been resilient. If oil prices continue to fall, production losses will continue to rise. The U.S. loses more of its energy independence and hands market share to OPEC. You see, the thing that caused crazy high oil and gas prices as the OPEC 2020 deal was concluding was the fact that demand returned and we didn't have the supply because we manipulated the market. What is happening right now could basically mirror what happened then. When all of this ends, demand could return and supply would be lower, which would mean artificially high oil and gas prices at a time when we cannot afford to lose any more refining capacity, at a time when we have multiple refiners talking about closing down. So what I'm saying is if we lose the refiners we expect to lose, and if we lose the production we expect to lose, when we do come out of this and this all ends, the result will likely be worse than what happened when we came out of COVID and gas was $5 on a national average. This would likely be worse than that because the refining capacity would be even lower and the demand would be even higher. In a nutshell, you're going to save 10 or 20 cents a gallon on gas now for a period of time, and then you're going to pay for that by paying, I don't know, $2 more, $3 more for a gallon of gas at some point in the future when this ends. Because right now, the savings you're seeing in gas prices are like living on a credit card and not really having a way to pay for it. But at some point, that's going to have to be paid with interest. The notion, especially when you're talking about the economy, that you fix something by destroying it first, yeah, that's like the dumbest thing ever. Yeah, pretty much. The best thing that can happen right now for all of this to just stop, to not have this occur is for these tariffs to end as quickly as possible. There's still time. But my sense is this would likely carry to the midterms. And if that's the case, that's going to be bad. That's going to be bad. Yeah, thanks.